Welcome back to BioMindscape. Today we are going to know about how many pigments are involved in photosynthesis. So here we can look at the plant, and have you ever wondered why there are so many shades of green color and chlorophyll present? So because of the leaf pigment that is present, and any green plant, it can be separated, this leaf pigment can be separated from the green plant through the paper chromatography. So as shown, we can see three graphs here in the screen. Let us now see the role of various pigment the plants play in photosynthesis. So pigments are the substance that have an ability to absorb the light at a specific wavelength. Can you guess which is the most abundant plant pigment in the world? So let us study the graph and shows the ability of the chlorophyll A pigment to absorb the light at different wavelength. So in this figure we can see you are familiar with the wavelength of the Vibgyor of the visible spectrum. Today we are going to know about the plant pigments. Now we all know there are four types of pigments. Plant pigments like chlorophyll A, which are bright or blue green color in the chromatogram, chlorophyll B, that is yellow green, xanthophyll, that is yellow, and carotenoids, that is yellow to yellow orange. There are four type of pigments, and we have to know about the graph that I am going to explain. So let's see the chlorophyll A, it is bright or blue green in color, chlorophyll B, yellow and green in color, xanthophyll and carotenoids that are present. Now let us see what role the various pigment possess in the photosynthesis. So here the pigments are the substance that have an ability to absorb light at a specific wavelength. Can you guess which is the most abundant plant pigment in the world? So let us study the graph which show the ability of chlorophyll A pigment that absorb the light at different wavelength. So of course you are familiar with the Vibgyor in the visible spectrum. So let's see the figure. So here we can see absorption spectrum of the pigment. The graph show how much light each pigment absorb at different wavelength, that is 400 to 700 nanometer. Then chlorophyll A peaks at approximately 430 nanometer blue and 680 nanometer red. And chlorophyll B, we can see that peaks slightly different and helps in the capturing the extra light. Then carotenoids, it absorbs mainly the blue region, that is 400 to 500 nanometer. So what is this concept all about? Different pigment absorb different wavelength, and plants can use more sunlight. In action spectrum of photosynthesis, here we can see the second graph. The graph shows the rate of photosynthesis, that is the oxygen that is released versus the wavelength. So maximum photosynthesis is in the blue light, that is approximately 450 nanometer, and the red region have 680 nanometer, and minimum is the green region where the 500 to 600 is the maximum absorption in nanometers. Then what is this concept? The green light is least used. It reflects and then leaf appears green in color. What is combined graph? The absorption plus the action spectrum. The light absorbed by the chlorophyll A and the rate of photosynthesis. The combined graph compares the light absorbed by the chlorophyll A and the rate of the photosynthesis. So what we observe, we can see here a peak of both graph that matches in blue and red region but not 100% overlap. So what is important here? The chlorophyll A is the chief pigment, but other pigments are also the contributors. First understand the chlorophyll A, that is the main pigment doing the photosynthesis. There is an accessory pigment chlorophyll B and carotenoid that increase the range of the light absorption and the transfer energy of to the chlorophyll A. It transfer the energy to the chlorophyll A and protect from the photo oxidation. So action spectrum is closely followed by absorption spectrum of chlorophyll A and provide it the chef pigment, while accessory pigment expand light absorption and enhances the photosynthesis. So how much light is absorbed? How much light pigment absorb at different wavelength, that represent the absorption spectrum effectively. How effectively each wavelength is driving the photosynthesis O2 production, that is the action spectrum, whereas the combined graph is comparison of light absorption, chlorophyll and photosynthetic rate. So what is the key idea for this? Absorption spectrum focus on the pigment, whereas the action spectrum that focuses on the photosynthetic rate, whereas the combined graph represent the relationship between both. So what is the difference between absorption, action and combined graph? Here absorption spectrum, here the light absorbed by the pigment is shown. In the action spectrum it shows the light used in the photosynthesis, and the combined graph we can see here it proves that the absorbed light that is equal to the photosynthesis and mainly by the chlorophyll A. Thanks for watching. Do like, share and subscribe BioMindscape.